For the past 2 weeks this month, I have been unable to get email that was sent from Gmail accounts. Now, this was so frustrating. You don't realize how many people have Gmail accounts until they all stop sending. And my whole family uses Gmail accounts, and so they were just getting bounce back messages all the time. And it frustrated all the people who wanted to get in touch with me because they couldn't understand why was I not replying to their emails. And then I was the same way. I would send an email to them, they would get it, and I wouldn't get the reply, and I'd wonder, well, how come they're not replying? So it created a huge bottleneck in our ministry. And the problem was so complicated that it took 8 days for the tech support people to sort it out and finally fix it. But during this whole stressful time, it reminded me of the problems that so many of us have hearing God's voice talking to us. Now, we send up our prayers and God's promised to hear them, but we seem to have trouble hearing His response or getting His reply. Now, the Bible's made it so clear. He's promised to hear our prayers. He's with us all the time. And Jesus said, "My sheep hear my voice." So that means that every believer has the built-in capacity to hear God's response. He wants to have a two-way conversation with us. But we really struggle with the receiving part. So why is that? And what seems to block or interfere with our ability to hear His response? Well, here are five areas that will interfere or block or slow down your ability to hear God's voice. And the first one is, if you don't even believe that God speaks, or that you even have the ability to hear, then you won't. And so you just hang up the phone. If you have no expectation that you're going to hear from God, you definitely won't. Or you could be like me. I thought God only talked to the paid staff, the professional Christians, the pastors and leaders and missionaries. He would never talk to just an ordinary Christian like me. And number two, if you're involved in sin, if you're a Christian and you're still involved in willful, repetitive sin, you're giving Satan permission to talk to you. So that's going to be a major distraction from hearing the voice of God. And the third, if you're struggling with your moods or you're very stressed, that's going to be very distracting. If you have depression, anxiety, or mood swings, then that will fill your mind with those disturbing, distracting thoughts. Or if you're just under a lot of pressure and you're working on all kinds of issues and deadlines, that's very distracting. It's hard to hear God when you're in turmoil. And then the fourth one is, what was your relationship with your natural father? If he was distant, angry, critical, and hard to please, you're going to presume that God's the same way. And you're not going to want to hear from Him because you're going to be afraid of what He might say because you're so sure He will be so disappointed with you or want to discipline you. And the last one is, if you think that God is just so far away and disinterested that He wouldn't even speak, that will really interfere with your ability to hear His voice. But the truth is, God loves you, He's with you all the time, He's inside you, and He wants to have an ongoing two-way relationship with you. And as you work through those 5 issues, your ability to hear God's voice will increase dramatically, and it will change your walk with God. It'll make it exciting and interactive and fun. And if you need help working through those issues, contact me. I do appointments and I can help you with that. I also have a 5-part video series for small groups or personal study on how to hear God's voice better. And the information about that is below this video. But now I want to hear from you. What was the key in your life that you could begin hearing from God? What was the turning point, the revelation in your life that, oh, I can hear from God? Just leave your testimony in the box below because it's going to help someone else begin their journey hearing God's voice. And if this is your first visit here, you need to get my free self-assessment guide. And to do that, just subscribe to my weekly email newsletter by filling out the subscription form on this page. And I'll talk to you again next week. But this week, listen for His voice because He's always talking to you.